Hello there, AP World History students. My name is Luis Silva, and today we're looking at AP World History, the glory that was Greece. Very important presentation to get you ready for your AP World History exam. But before we continue, I want to remind you to subscribe to this channel, to like this video, and also to share this video so that we can help out more students get ready for their AP World History exam. But what will we learn today? Today we're going to focus on identifying the ideas and impact of important individuals, including Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. We're also going to describe the diffusion of Greek culture by Aristotle's pupil Alexander the Great. And in future presentations, we're going to be looking at Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar. Let's move on. Greek achievements. The ancient Greeks made contribution in many fields of learning and developed new innovations because they emphasized education and the pursuit of knowledge, very important concepts for any culture around the world. Many Greeks could afford to support academies and centers for learning. Greece's location along the Mediterranean Sea allowed for trade, the spread of diverse ideas, cultural diffusion, and the ability to build achievements from other parts of the ancient world. Now let's look at Greek democracy. The foundation of our democratic republic here in the United States began in Athens with their development of direct democracy. Athenian citizens participated in government decisions by voting, just like we do here in the United States. We vote. Decisions are made when we vote for people to represent us. A council would propose laws, this is in Greece, and then all men over 18 years that wanted to could vote. The approved ideas would become laws. Very important concept, democracy, the majority rules, and in this case, it started with the Greeks. Now let's look at Greek literature and drama. Examine the images and answer these questions. How does the seating arrangement in the theater make it easy for audience to see and hear what is happening? And two, why would it be important for actors to wear large masks and colorful costumes? I want you to think about this as we're moving through this presentation. Now, Homer, the poet, wrote the famous stories of the Odyssey and the Iliad, which are read in language art classes all over the world. So this is the importance of Greek literature and drama. The Odyssey and the Iliad, they are basically part of the curriculum in all over the world. Now, drama was also important to the ancient Greeks. They were the first to develop comedies and tragedies. Theaters were built that were open air and built in a way that everyone in the audience could hear and see the action. Now, in terms of Greek architecture, let's see what we have here. And let's read what we're asked to do here. Which column do you think is the best style? Look at the columns here to the left-hand side and give us an explanation as to which one do you think is the best style. Now, if you look at this particular structure here, we also have in modern day structures that look very similar to that. The columns and the Greeks impacted architecture even until today. We have the White House, we have the Capitol building, we have our court system, which have buildings that resemble ancient Greek architecture. The Greeks were among the most talented architects of the ancient world. The Parthenon, a temple made of marble in honor of the goddess Athena, is probably one of the most famous examples of Greek architecture. The Greeks used columns and displayed murals of mythological scenes in their buildings. So you see how religion, up to a certain degree, is connected to Greek architecture. Very important. Please make sure that you are aware of that when you're taking your AP World History exam. Also, in terms of mathematics, what you see here in front of you has to do with geometry. In this case, the Pythagorean theorem. And if you are taking geometry, you will run across this. A plus B, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. This is basically an idea that was taken from the Greeks. Ancient Greek mathematicians developed many important concepts that are still used today. Scientists use pi to find circumferences of circles. Euclid development proofs that became the basis for modern geometry. Pythagoras tried to explain everything in mathematical terms. He created a theorem about relationship of sides of right triangle that is used all over the world today and is called the Pythagorean theorem. You see the connection between the ancient world, in this case the Greeks, and our modern world in many of the fields that we study, such as English, drama, and even mathematics. Now, in terms of Greek philosophy, answer the following question. Do you think that questioning is a good way of learning? Is there such a thing as too many questions? Why or not? You're more than welcome to answer this question. And I can tell you this, we learn by asking questions. So make sure that you ask questions, and this way you will gain plenty of knowledge from people who are passionate and knowledgeable in different subjects. And this is what Socrates actually said. As for me, all I know is that I know nothing. Very important quote. By the way, you're more than welcome to pause this video so you can read about Socrates, his biography. Continuing on with Greek philosophy. Philosophy means love of wisdom. Socrates taught students to challenge accepted values in Greece. He thought people must think for themselves to understand truth. Once again, very important for you to learn this. These values, this philosophy is not only important today, it will continue to be important as we move on forward. Aristotle created the basis for the scientific method. Every truth is followed by another logical truth. Very important concepts in Greek philosophy. Now, in terms of Greek astronomy and geography, which contribution of the Greeks to astronomy and geography do you think is the most important? Make a sketch and present your ideas. You can see here, you're more than welcome to pause and read about Greek astronomy, about Earth, about the sun, and not only about the sun, but also about the solar system. Greeks concluded that the sun was larger than Earth. While they debated if the sun or the Earth was the center of the universe, the astronomer Ptolemy thought that the Earth was the center, and this would be believed for 14 centuries. The Greeks were able to determine also the size or the true size of the Earth. In terms of Greek engineering, let's look at this. Now, let's read what we have in front of us. Use the two different levers to lift the stapler. Which one was easier? Well, you can see here, and you can determine which one was easier. Now, sketch that lever in your activity box for this section. Well, use your notebook, and sketch it, draw it, so that you can have a better idea. The Greek scientist Archimedes used engineering to design levers to lift heavy objects, as well as a large screw that pumped water from the ground. Archimedes also invented war machines with reflective metals that used the sun's heat to burn ships, and catapults that threw stones and arrows. Very important ideas and inventions by this individual, and we take this for granted now, but during this time this was a big discovery. Now, in terms of the arts, Greek art, let's answer the following questions. Why do you think that this and other Greek statues are considered to be works of art? Look at the statue and answer the question. Now, question 2, what makes them different from other art that you have seen? Maybe you have seen drawings, that's also art, but it's good to compare the different art of the world versus the Greek art. The Greeks began carving life-size statues very early on. Greek sculpture was innovated by showing realism in human movement. Greek artists tried to show ideal human beauty, which often was represented by nude sculptures. Now, another very important contribution by the Greeks is Greek medicine. Now, let's answer the following question. What part of the excerpt from the Hippocratic Oath stands out the most to you? Number 2, what are doctors promising? Now you can summarize the following quote in your notebook, and this is the quote. I swear by Apollo, the healer, and I take to witness all the gods the following oath. I will prescribe regimens for the good of my patients according to my ability and my judgment, and never do harm to anyone. This is basically part of the Hippocratic Oath that doctors have to take. Now, Hippocrates is called the father of modern medicine because he began school that introduced new medical teachings and practices. Hippocrates believed that diseases were caused by natural events, not by gods. The Greeks developed the Hippocratic Oath, a pledge that doctors take that emphasize the responsibility of each doctor to their patients. Very important concept that we also have in modern day science, modern day medicine, that came from the Greeks. Now let's review this closure activity and let's answer the questions. Why do you think scholars call this period in Greek history a golden age? What is so important about this period? Now, which Greek achievement do you think is most important and why? You're more than welcome. You're going to have your own answers. But this is the Greek legacy here in terms of culture, in terms of the arts, in terms of science and technology, and also in terms of government. Let's quickly review some of this legacy that was left by the Greeks. So for culture, we have Greek language and we have Olympic Games. For the arts, we have drama and poetry, as well as classical architecture. For science, we have basically Euclid's geometry textbook, and we also have accurate estimate of the circumference of Earth. And by the way, you're more than welcome to read this slowly. And for government, we have direct democracy, we have code of laws, we have expansion of citizenship to all free adult males, and very important contributions that were made by the Greeks. Now we have come to the end of this presentation. Please make sure to subscribe, make sure to like this video, and make sure to share this video so that we can help out more students. And I will see you in the next presentation.